We are here.
We're back.
We're FIFA Ramble. We are here to ramble World Cup footballs.
The first thing we're going to ramble on today is...
We have to. Why not?
We have to do it.
Let's wade into it, shall we?
We're going to do a special, small for us, England podcast.
Yeah, we're going to do a little one. We have to. We have to go through all the excitement, all the throws, all the spills.
No, it was brilliant. It was brilliant. It was exceptional. It was... To see, going into the game, we knew that if they could beat Colombia, it was arguably...
Everyone knew it was pretty much going to be really tight, and there was a pretty high chance that it's going to go to penalties.
Yeah, it was going to be a tough game. Everyone knew this.
Because Colombia just don't give stuff away for free, really, do they?
Yeah, everyone knew this, except I can't remember who it was, but someone on Sky Sports said, well, I think, Colombia, they're an average side. Average? Colombia.
That said from someone who has not heard of any of the names on the Colombian team sheet.
No, exactly.
I'm not aware of the calibre of those players who predominantly play in Serie A, the Premier League, and have vast experience all around the world.
They probably just watched Falcao play for Man United and Chelsea, and that was it, and have deemed him... Oh, it doesn't matter how many goals he scored for Monaco, and it doesn't matter how many...
Dean Cuadrado like a Chelsea flop.
Cuadrado's a Chelsea flop.
He's not. We don't think that.
He's not.
He's definitely... we know he's good. Oh, he's very good.
He's amazing. These people's opinions are just based on nothing but unless they watch them week in, week out. We talked about this with Pavard when Lawrenson wrote him off.
Who's now worth over 50 million and Stuttgart aren't prepared to sell him because he, as a 22-year-old,
and scored an absolute screamer. But Lawrenson in the first game for France said that, well, is this the best right back that France can get?
He's never heard of him. He saw him for 10 minutes in the first game of the World Cup. A young lad who's 22, his first World Cup. Just destroy him, which is unfair. Anyway, that's one thing.
That's one thing.
We're just chatting England. We're going into England.
We're rambling. This is why we're called the Ramble.
So England, everyone thought, like you said, Colombia, never heard of them. Rubbish.
Yeah, Colombia
going to be easy.
Written off by some, but people could acknowledge that it was actually going to be a really difficult game. They're a very good side, very skilled. My first thoughts were they could, in the Poland game, and I know Poland will pull this tournament. But the balls that James Rodriguez was playing in behind the defence for then Falcao to get onto the end and Cuadrado to cut in from the flank.
Which he does.
Yeah, he does. They were exceptional, and it did worry me. I thought against the England side, if those wing backs have pushed up and Cuadrado can get in behind, and then Rodriguez has got a bit of space, play a nice little diagonal ball in behind. But the first thing that cropped up then was James Rodriguez wasn't playing, and he wasn't even on the bench. And that played a huge part, I think.
Just a psychological impact.
Yeah, I think that played a massive part in the game because he was someone that I kept highlighting and saying he's dangerous. They have to make sure he hasn't got an inch of room to work in, because if he did, I thought he could cause Jordan Henderson no end of issues. Mm-hmm. And then if he got in behind Henderson, he was going to cause issues everywhere. But he didn't play.
So it got bogged down, and the first half was just feeling each other out.
It was a bit boggy.
And they're strong all across the park. They didn't really let England have much of a sniff, really.
No.
And so by the second half, it was no surprise that it was 0-0 for quite some time until a bit of a Harry tug. Would you tug Harry Kane off in the penalty box?
Oh, not with cameras.
Wouldn't touch him.
Not now.
Wouldn't touch him. I'd be like, referee, I'm not even on him.
There's no way I'd tug him off in the penalty box.
That he's just you shouldn't grab or grope Harry Kane in the box.
Because it's new. It's new.
No, but they should have learned that. The whole aspect of VAR being under the spotlight as it is has come from England press and everyone whining about Harry Kane in the first game being just manhandled.
They do like to manhandle him. I wouldn't manhandle Harry Kane. I certainly wouldn't do it with 5 men watching in a box that you can't see. It's...
No, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it. No,
anyway, he was taken down. It was a penalty.
It was a penalty.
It was unnecessary, is what I would say. And I just don't see how they're not getting that. We've discussed this in great detail before about it changes the entire aspect of defending. It changes the entire aspect of the game because you just can't get away with those little underhand tactic training
it's
defensive
finished.
moves anymore. So the game has progressed, has moved on, and defenders need to know that they are just not going to get away with anything. So they stand off the attackers more, hence giving them more space. Therefore, a completely different game changer atmosphere, and more penalties given.
More penalties given.
I've never seen more penalties given in this World Cup.
The most penalties
there will be
World
plenty
Cup.
more, and the fact is that more games now at the integral stage are going to be going towards penalties. So,
especially when you look at some of the games coming up, how physical they could be.
And Harry Kane, as we've seen,
cool as you like.
Well, proven to you trust your life with him for a penalty, wouldn't you?
Yeah,
so
cool as you like.
Terrorists are taking you. They say Harry Kane decides if he's going to score or not. You live or die.
Yeah,
I'm backing Harry Kane.
I'm backing Harry Kane. The only person I would back just as much as Harry Kane is Jedinak.
Oh, Neil, yeah.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. He just slides up. But they needed.
Harry Kane got the goal.
Harry
Kane's England got the goal.
2 ahead of Lukaku at the top of the goal scoring charts.
And I think there's a couple more penalties to come in that as well.
Yeah.
But he did look a little bit worse for wear.
He looked ropey at the end.
So did quite a few of the boys.
But they're going to be.
The England lads, they did phenomenally well. Look, we are here to discuss
superb.
how well they were. But
they did
what
really
we're saying is there's just such a finite balance between getting that right and getting that wrong. And I'm so glad Jordan Henderson and Kieran Trippier weren't hung out to dry, because if the last penalty, we've jumped through the penalties right now, we'll go back to the...
Yeah, we're going to
go back. If that penalty was that didn't hit the crossbar, like I just absolutely rocketed it in, it'd be a complete different headline in an alternative universe, and everything else going on. But Harry Kane's penalty, slotted it in, easy, cool as you like. Yeah. Easy going. And then you thought they would hang on. You thought they would just hang on. And all the press, and you heard it across all the commentary, across radio, across TV, English press. Yeah, they'll hold this on. All they need to do is hold this on. And sure as you know it, boom, set piece. That was a towering header, wasn't it?
It was.
And then was it 92nd minute?
It was something like that. It was a nightmare to. I saw someone on Twitter actually. They tweeted me after I said about Trippier. We sent out a tweet. He felt
guilty because he thought he could have done more, but he's expecting a header to come at him rather than to bounce in front of him.
Well, this is what I mean. He said, he could. I said how good of a game Trippier had, and how good the World Cup.
That's great.
And the first response I got back was, he's been brilliant, but he could have done more for the goal. But then you watch it back, and I've seen it loads now, their goal.
Couldn't have done much more.
The ball comes in.
Unless you're leaving it to your goalkeeper, but you're on the post, so you can't do it.
I don't think either of them could have done anything about it. I really don't, because the ball comes in, it's headed at pace, it bounces off the ground and up. So they're dealing with the ball that is at pace, that is changing direction, and is at an angle.
And it's got power in it as well.
If you watch it, it's so close to actually hitting the underside of the crossbar. He couldn't have got it in a better... Like, if he'd headed it direct at goal, they probably would have got... Yeah, they probably would have got something on it. But because it went down and then up, so it's a pace. When it bounced, it put a spin on the ball. But there's nothing they could have done about it. There's nothing they could have done. No. The only thing that could have been done is he could have been marked more closely. But if someone got a jump on him, and that was it.
But I think that was very fair, considering Colombia just went at him after that penalty.
Oh, they went at him just before that corner.
They just upped it, and so put that pressure on, and then that set piece I think that was a fair score if that was to remain there, and then it just carried on the defensive back and forth into extra time. Jordan Pickford. Let's have a little Jordan Pickford section, and we'll put that right there. This is it. This is a Jordan Pickford section.
To the Jordan Pickford
corner.
Welcome.
We'll be discussing in Goalkeeper's Corner, Jordan Pickford.
Jordan Pickford, sponsored by the Goalkeepers Union. It's
phenomenal performance for a young guy.
That's the save of the tournament so far.
He made 2. I've not seen a quality penalty save apart from Schmeichel's, maybe one of Schmeichel's, but this one was a cut above that. The penalty save in particular. When you're reaching, your palm first and you're over it.
Yeah.
That is a tough thing to get right.
Wrong hand and it's coming in.
No, that's the right hand. Because they're having a go at him. Because you know that flailing save,
Yeah.
That one. They're
No,
saying he
what I
should
mean
have
is it's
extended
not
that.
his strongest hand, is what I mean. So it's his weaker hand. He saved it with his weaker hand,
No, it doesn't matter. Like, if
and his arm doesn't move. So strong, it's unreal. That save.
what do you mean by one hand?
As in, he's right-handed.
Yeah, but
He's
that doesn't
stronger.
matter.
No, but what I mean, when
Goalkeeping.
Neville Southall said about it today. Neville Southall was saying that there's
Big Nev.
yeah, Big Nev. Big Nev was talking about how he said it's his weaker hand. It's not the one that he uses predominantly. And to have that much, he was like, to show the power that he does to save that ball with that hand at that day. It was a great penalty save.
Did you hear about the amount of prep that went into the penalty psychologically, and the research that Jordan Pickford said everyone, all the penalty takers,
they all went except
Falcao went the other way. Now, since the Falcao, like, it puts him on a rhythm.
Yeah.
So the Falcao goal indicates to me that it's just a guess game, because after the Falcao one slotted in, they all went keeper's right to left.
Yeah.
They went power. Apart from one of them who just slotted it in to the right, keeper's left.
Yeah.
At one time, but then Jordan just absolutely grabbed that penalty, and that was huge.
That was superb. But his save before that, before the goal,
it was incredible, because if you mistime that jump, you look like a mug, and that's a very high stake save at the highest level.
And again, he didn't get much on it. He just got enough on it to just turn it past. It's the save. I'm not saying
you should be like, if you dive it that way, you should be tipping it with that and to get more reach. But it's pure reaction.
Yeah.
That one, and it's just an incredible save. So, Jordan Pickford, is it easier man of the match? It's not going to be Harry Kane, is it? Because Harry Kane,
I genuinely think my man of the match was Jordan Henderson.
Hendo, sitting.
I thought Henderson had an absolute blinder.
Yeah.
He did.
Fair enough.
And what I liked about it was, you look back and you think he didn't misplace many passes. He did everything he needed to. He was always in space. He always left it open. He got himself into a position where he was available to receive the ball at all times. He was making sure that he knew where everyone else was on the pitch to pass out to him. He was making tackles, and he was just going about his job with minimal fuss. Minimal fuss. It was sublime central defensive midfielder performance by him. But again, Trippier as well.
With a penalty, his first penalty was massive. Did you see it just roll, and the power? It just rolled on the top of it. No one said anything how good that first opening penalty was.
It was a great penalty. So calm. Composed.
I was also really impressed with Trippier's penalty as well.
Yeah, Trippier's was
that
really
was the
good.
most important penalty, like after the bar got rattled. Who's that Colombian player who hit the bar? Because he had a hell of a game as well.
No, he did have a good game.
That was to win, wasn't it, basically?
Yeah, basically.
And just escaped it. The skin of the teeth. But at this level, they're the things which dictate games. It was massive. Because I thought at that stage, they looked so comfortable taking penalties. After the... Did you see Jordan Henderson man of the match after the penalty miss?
I think
going with his little keepy-ups.
He didn't look very good.
He's nowhere man of the match. He had a good game. He's nowhere near man of the match.
He played... I genuinely would make an argument for it. I think for 120 minutes, I thought he was brilliant. And then he looked nervous as hell taking the penalty.
He's the only nervous penalty taker in that group.
We actually tweeted as he was walking up, Jordan Henderson looks nervous for this, think he'll miss.
You can just see it. It's
amazing.
As
soon as
he
lined up, I could see he was
guys,
going to miss. I really could.
Absolutely incredible.
Really good.
Really high quality. So we have to say how well England did. And for the drama alone, it was incredible.
Look, at the end of the day, I know we've talked about it before. We live in the UK, so we listen to this England hyperbole. You know, it builds and builds and builds, and it's not going to stop. But there does come a point where you have to stop complaining about it and just embrace it, because I guarantee we were celebrating the Panama fans celebrating it, and we were celebrating the Peru fans celebrating it, and the South Korean fans. Yeah. Well, the England fans are doing exactly the same. They're doing the same. It just so happens we live in a country where that is under a microscope and it's magnified to the point where it's in your face constantly. If we were in Russia right now, the media were slagging them off and now they're loving them. We'd be complaining. It's just where you live. I'm convinced.
And it's the power of the World Cup. Set your imagination on fire.
I'm loving it. England is through.
There's nothing wrong. I like the positivity. When it gets horrible, which I was expecting a backlash by now, is when they hang a player out to dry.
Look, they nearly happened last night.
And it almost happened.
You were watching it on Twitter.
And I bet there's two alternatives of the press, the back pages that were about to go out.
Yeah.
And you could just sense it, who's going to be the scapegoat. Because you know who's going to be the scapegoat. It was either going to be Jordan Henderson or it was going to be Trippier.
Yeah, well, Dyer last night. Twitter had decided it was Dyer.
How is that a thing?
Soon as he came on, and
so unnecessary.
Eric Dyer was being deemed. If you watched it on Twitter, it was one after another. It started with the Dyer's not had a good game since he came on. Dyer's looked off the pace.
Diabolical.
Yeah, diabolical. That's a headline that they would have written.
They would have.
It was,
and Henson's miss as well.
Yeah, it was one of them. It was, I could see Dyer, and then it's the point where actually a journalist for, I can't remember what newspaper, I won't even bother trying to remember it, but a journalist said, right, we have our scapegoat then, and winky face, and put a picture of Eric Dyer up. It's been deleted now.
So much hate.
I was delighted that it was Dyer that scored the winning penalty. Delighted. Because Angel scapegoat to his performance got us knocked out of the World Cup, to scoring the winning penalty. They sends them through to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2006. First penalty shootout victory ever in a World Cup for England, and the first penalty shootout win full stop since 1996 when they knocked out Spain.
It's huge.
It's massive.
It's just.
Can you imagine the psychological impact that's now going to have?
Just about to say that.
And the confidence that
on everyone.
Get.
I mean, you saw the commentator, like Lee Dixon, Ian Wright, Lineker, all those reactions, all that pouring out. Probably Pierce had a bit of a soda in his throat as well. Probably. It means so much
to celebrate.
He did, yeah. Southgate, obviously, he's well happy.
Yeah, he's loving it.
Pizza as well.
Yeah,
pizza.
It's
huge because it's just an outpouring of so much emotion.
If you're an English player, the one thing that's been a monkey on their back has been, one, not getting through to the quarterfinal at a major tournament, and two, not winning penalty shootouts.
Full stop.
Yeah, full stop. They haven't won one since they knocked out Spain at Euro 96. To, one, get through to the quarterfinals is massive. And two, to do it via winning the penalty shootout. It's those two things. In one of my friends is from South London, and I was texting him throughout the game, and he was saying, I told him this morning when I saw him, I was like, the fact that you've not only qualified for the quarters, but you've done it via penalty shootout, it couldn't have been more perfect. When it went to penalties, he texted me saying not good, and I was like, this could be the perfect way to win this game.
I think the other mentality was
we're probably
going to go out. If any, the very, very least, we're going to go out. It doesn't matter. Like, that's where we've always been. Whatever. The fact is, they turned it over with their positive psychological block removed.
Yeah.
And those boys could not have done any more. They all stepped up. Pickford was in the zone completely. And it just managed to work out for him. Because in an alternative reality,
absolutely delighted.
I am delighted. Yes or no question.
Yeah.
Is football coming home?
Oh, is it coming home? It's certainly looking at the boarding times. Football is currently sat in the airport and it's looking at the screen. And it's about to board. It's about to. They're not quite at check-in.
I think on many levels it's come home already.
On many levels it has. Look, in all seriousness, we said this before, in the Panama celebrated and Peru celebrated, because they got to the World Cup.
Beautiful.
That was what they wanted to do. They didn't go into this tournament thinking, if we got this result and if we got that, we could sneak through. They didn't care. What they wanted, they were at a World Cup and it was beautiful. And you had you had TV hosts crying when the Panama national anthem was played.
It's like seeing Eric Veal at the Olympics.
Exactly.
Just swimming. It's like seeing any underdog. It's like cool running. It's cool
running. What all they wanted to do, Panama and Peru, was get to the World Cup. when they qualified, that was their goal.
Or Senegal,
So then
or
anything that
Nigeria,
yeah, exactly.
or anyone. You can tell your
Everything that
grandkids
happens-
you were in the squad. You can tell your grandkids you were in Russia. It doesn't matter.
Anything
it really
that
doesn't
happens
matter.
after this point now, anything that happened after they'd qualified was just a bonus. Hence why when Panama scored a goal against England when they were 6-0 down and they celebrated it as though they'd won the World Cup, England fans, celebrate this moment like Panama celebrated that goal, because you've got to the cup, you've done it via penalty shootout. That was a massive block in the way.
I think there's a bit more celebrating to do.
Oh, there is going to be, but what I mean is anything that happens after this is a massive bonus, because this is where you want to be. You want to be at a quarter-final stage of a World Cup with a winnable game.
Like, we both don't think much of Sweden.
No,
it's going to be more physical.
I've said it, and I've
they
said it.
are, if not one of the most frustrating teams to actually see.
They're the worst team after the World Cup, and they were argued they are worse than a lot of teams that finished bottom of the group. Obviously, Germany being one of them.
Team.
Let's not forget.
Imagine Ibra.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's what we're going to leave you for now.
That's the end of this little
That's
England
our little
ramble.
England loving.
Just enjoy it. Just promise me you won't. Listen,
a little bit of a crumble.
Anyone watching
a proud
this,
ramble.
Yeah, it's a proud ramble. Anyone watching this,
Ramble.
if you're an England fan, promise me something. Don't be stereotypical if you get
Just
knocked out
enjoy
by
yourself.
Sweden. Just enjoy
Just
it.
enjoy the
You're in a
occasion.
quarter final.
The guys
Enjoy
are doing
it.
so well.
And get off Kieran Trippier's back.
No one's on his back. He's on his back because he's good. He should be appreciated. 3, 2, 1. It's coming home.